What's up, vapors? Thanks for checking out Daily Vape TV. My name is Nick, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Vaporesso switcher. So for today's random question of the day, I'm going to steal a page out of Stan's book from Vapes. Pirates or ninjas? Let me know who you think would win in a fight. I'm going to go with pirates on this one just because, well, I think they're just more badass. I mean, I've got a whole sleeve of pirate tattoos here, and I just think they're the more badass of the two. They have some tricks up their sleeves just like ninjas do, and I just think they would fight a little bit more dirty. So let me know what you guys think right down there in the comments box below. I want an explanation which one you choose, pirates or ninjas, and why. So just drop a comment right down there. All right, guys, so today we're going to be taking a look at this guy right here. This is the switcher kit from Vaporesso, with a big shout out and thank you going their way for allowing me to take a look at this device for the purpose of making this video. And this one's kind of an interesting little thing here because there's nothing super duper special about it other than the fact that you can take off this whole outer sleeve here, this whole yellow part. This all comes off and you can switch it with something else if you prefer to be super matchy with whatever you're vaping on. If you have a certain color RDA or whatever, then you can just switch out the whole back sleeve to something that's going to match it perfectly. All right, guys, so taking a look online, this device comes in 6 different color options for you guys to choose from. You have iron gray, retro yellow, and silver for your standard color options at the price point of $73. And then if you want to spend a little bit more, you get something a little bit extra fancy with the brown and gold option, the red and blue, as well as the shiny green. And those you add $10 to the price, so you're looking at $83, which, you know, is still a pretty decent price point for a full kit. It includes the energy tank as well, so not too bad. That's kind of more or less the vape shop pricing rather than online, but at the end of the day, you do get a full setup for under $100, which is still good. So if you want to get one of these for yourself, make sure you check out the links right down there in the description below. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive down to the close-up view and take a better look at this thing. Don't worry, guys, you're not going crazy. There's no tricks here, and the box isn't invisible. This is how I received my Vaporesso switcher kit. Now, this is not the full retail version. This is a pre-production model, and there are a few differences here. As far as the retail packaging is concerned, I'm pretty sure it comes with the standard stuff, you know, a USB cable, a manual, an extra glass, and an extra coil, that kind of thing. But with that, this is the pre-release version. I got none of that stuff in there, but here you can see at the top, hopefully, maybe, it says Kosopure, K-O-S-U-P-U-R-E. So I'm not sure if that was just kind of the, you know, working sort of name for it or whatever, the pre-production version name or whatever. But yeah, it says Kosopure. And just before they released it, they changed the name from the Transformer to the switcher. Now, probably a good reason behind that, one being the back panel. Now, the back panel on this guy here, as you can see, has that sort of like digital circuit board look to it, and a couple of characters that look kind of like some robots that may have been hidden in plain view because they were able to change form in a certain sense. So, yeah, I'm kind of glad they changed that. I was going to rag on them if they didn't, but they definitely changed that around for the full retail version there. Other than that, it looks pretty much identical from what I can see about the pictures online, etc. It looks pretty much identical to the retail version. So this device utilizes 2 high-amped 18650 batteries. Wattage output range is 5 to 220 watts. Temp control range is 200 to 600 degrees Fahrenheit. Minimum atomizer resistance is 0.05 ohms. Innovative Omni board 2.6 chipset, supports nickel, titanium, and stainless steel heating elements. It has TCR, CCT, and CCW modes, as well as a smart variable wattage mode, bypass mode, real-time clock setting, real charging time, equalizing charge system, durable zinc alloy construction, unique interchangeable case design, intuitive 0.91-inch OLED display, oversized firing button, 2 adjustment buttons, micro USB port, and a spring-loaded 510 connection. All right, guys, let's take a look around this Vaporesso switcher kit, starting off with the energy sub-ohm tank up top here. Honestly, nothing has changed about the energy for quite some time, and it's just the same one that comes with the original Revenger kit. So if you want to go check out that video, if you want a more detailed review of the actual tank that comes with this thing, then it's right there for you guys. But as far as I'm concerned, there's really nothing new or different about it. It takes the GT coil family. It's a slide open top fill, which is fairly intuitive and easy to use right there. And otherwise, it's just another sub-ohm tank, so nothing too fancy or special whatsoever. It's got this big old 510 connection up top here, which is really nice. It is screwed into the top part of the mod, which is great. Spring-loaded 510, which is good because it can fit just about everything on top of there nice and flush, and I've had no issues with it whatsoever so far. So there you go. You can see this cool-looking body design here. It is kind of neat, and it's a little bit different from your average everyday sort of mod. On these side panels here, it has a sort of kind of rubbery grip, almost. It's not quite rubbery, it's not quite plasticky, it's just kind of hovering somewhere around the middle there. But you can see the cool little like cutouts on the side, which just make it that much more like kind of tactical looking, and it's got the printed little circuit board thing going on in that little grip section. It has more little air slots towards the bottom here, which kind of make it look like a sports car if you ask me, and it has the same thing but without the cutouts on the back part there. And as you can see on the back panel, it has your familiar, you know, cartoony kind of characters, which they have since changed for the full retail version, which I'm glad because, yeah, that's not a real good look for the industry if you're putting cartoony sort of characters on your mods. If you want to change out this whole body panel here, all you have to do is just open up your battery door all the way and then slide off the case. So it's just as easy as that. One thing to note here is that you have to have the battery door all the way open, because if it's halfway open, like if you're sitting on a table, it's going to butt up right into the battery door section and it's not going to be able to come off. So all the way open, slides off, no problem there. And the whole shell of this thing kind of has a clear black plastic going on, which, you know, it's something, but you really don't get to see it all that much. So kind of wish they showed off the body a little bit more on this thing. But with that, yeah, the battery door itself, it's a little bit on the flimsier side, definitely has a lot of wobble to it, but overall I've never had an issue with the actual latching mechanism here. And the battery terminals are marked not only in the bottom as well as on the actual battery door side itself, so just latch it closed like that. So real quick, I'll just show you how to get this thing up and running. So just open your battery door like that, and it's marked in the bottom, so just look at that. Boom, boom, close it up. And the startup time is pretty darn quick, maybe about 3/4 of a second to a full second there before the device is ready to fire, which is just great because I know that when I'm changing out my batteries, it's going to be real quick to turn back on and I can have a vape again. In order to change the mode, all you have to do is click and hold the middle fire button right there, and then just use the up and down buttons as it's stated on that menu there to go up and down this menu here. And it's very, very simplistic. All you have to do when you find the setting that you like, let's say you want to switch it to bypass, you hit the middle button, boom, it's switched over to bypass. If you want to change it again, then you just go up and down, and there you go. It also has a decently easy to use user interface as well for your normal functions. Click and hold once again, go down to system set, press the button, then you can change the time for the actual clock. You have 16 different brightness settings to choose from, puff counter reset, smart on and off, and screen timeout modes, as well as it'll show the version of the software and default settings. So you can switch it all the way back to default settings by going with that one there. Then if you want to just exit, you could go there and click the button right there. And that's pretty much it. It's a fairly simple operation for this guy, and that's something I could definitely appreciate. So just for size comparison's sake, I've got the Revenger right next to the switcher, and as you can see, the switcher is a little bit on the wider side. As far as the thickness goes, it's definitely a lot thicker than the Revenger itself, just because you have to have that added room for the actual backplate section, but otherwise the height is actually identical. So that's about it for this little close-up section here. Let's go back to the main screen, have a quick vape on this thing, and we'll talk about it some more. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the close-up section of the video. Now let's talk about my personal thoughts about this device, some pros, some cons, and whether or not it's worth purchasing. Starting off today with the pros, and my first pro is that it's solidly built. This thing is built like an absolute tank. The metal pieces on this one are really nicely done, and I feel like it's a nice solid mod. It's going to last a very long time. And one of the good things about having these replaceable panels here is if you do damage it or break it or scratch it or whatever, you can actually remove it and pop a new one on there, no problem. So as far as that's concerned, it's going to save a lot on the wear and tear factor with this device here, and that's definitely a good thing in my book. My second pro today is that it's just as easy to use as every other Vaporesso mod on the market, meaning that you have this middle button right here that's basically your select button, which just makes it that much easier to navigate through the UI and basically makes it a cinch. So with that, it just makes it that much easier than everything else out there on the market. You don't have to click the button a million times to get the selection that you want. You just have this separate button right down here in the middle. So as far as learning a different mod or a new mod, this thing is definitely on the easier side. And my third and final pro for this device is that the fire button is big and it's centralized. So honestly, I didn't think I would ever be able to get used to where the fire button is on this device here, but since then I've used a couple other devices similar, like the RX2 has that similar kind of centralized fire button, which is really convenient. Personally, I like to hold it with my thumb just kind of resting right there on the fire button, and it hits no matter where you press it. So top, bottom, left, right, doesn't matter at all. It's going to fire up every single time. Alright guys, so moving on to the cons. My first con is that it's bulky and it's heavy. Now, whenever you have movable parts or switchable parts like this one has here, you're going to add that little bit of extra bulk to it that's not really necessary. And then as far as the weight factor to it, it's kind of reminiscent of the iJoy Captain PD270, where it's just a little bit on the heavier side. It kind of tips the scales for me personally. I don't mind a little bit of weight, but this one is just a little bit too heavy for me. My second con for this one is they should have made it a dual 2700 or dual 21700 battery mod. Now, Vaporesso already has a great, fully functioning dual 18650 mod on the market, which is the Revenger or Revenger X, and then they came out with this one here, which really doesn't do anything that much extra than those two mods did, and it just has a little bit of added bulk and weight without any excess battery life. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to go with function over form on this one here. I just really wish they had some bigger batteries in there for better battery life. My third con for this one is the limited edition light up version. Now, that does really nothing for me whatsoever. I could care less about lights on mods. I just want them to work properly. And with that, they came out with this limited edition version which lit up and everything, and I could kind of tell that that's what they wanted to do with all of them, but it probably cost them a little bit too much. So instead they decided to come out with one version that lit up, and then just the rest of them were standard and boring and plain like this one here. Not that that's a big issue for me personally, but I just really wish they kind of went with all or nothing on that case there, with the fact that, you know, some people are going to be really upset that they're not going to be able to get that limited edition or don't even want the color scheme that it comes in. And my fourth and final con for this device is that it does nothing super extra special over the Revenger or Revenger X except for look pretty. Now, I've said this time and time again, I really don't care what a device looks like, I just want it to work. I want convenience features over features that make it look pretty. I don't want flashing lights, I don't want extra skins or body colors or anything like that. I really don't care, I just want it to work. So this one works just fine, but it's just a little bit too much flash over the function factor for me. So at the end of the day, is this device worth purchasing? Would I go out of my way to pick one of these up if I didn't get this one in for a review? And I'm going to say no to this one just because I already have a fully functioning Revenger and Revenger X, and I just don't really need this one whatsoever. So as far as I'm concerned, I would probably stick with those two mods. This one here just kind of doesn't really do it for me, but it is a great kit. It's a little bit on the expensive side, but if you like the features that I mentioned in this video, then check it out for yourself. I'll leave a link right down there in the description below if you want to pick one up for yourself. So that about does it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. Don't forget to click that notification bell right next to the subscribe button if you want to be alerted whenever I upload videos. Also, leave me some comments in the box below. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts all about the Vaporesso switcher or anything else you guys want to discuss down there. Also, check out the advocacy and my social media links right down there in the description below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and as always, vape on.